Test.com's police practice test. For more practice, check out the complete 500-question police selection and aptitude practice exam kit with fully explained answers, testing tips, and more. Question number 1. Officer Smith often works as a drug use prevention officer in the local public schools. He visits 3 schools a week, 40 weeks out of the year. How many schools does he visit in a year? A. 100, B. 110, C. 120, D. 130. C. 120. 3 schools a week times 40 weeks equals 120 school visits. Question number 2. A robbery suspect has been arrested. The judge in the case has set bail at $1 million. The bail bondsman requires a 10% deposit to issue a bail bond. What portion of the $1 million does the robbery suspect need to pay to get the bail bond? A. $100,000, B. $10,000, C. $1,000, D. $100. A. $100,000. $1 million times 0.1 equals $100,000. Question number 3. Select the word or phrase that most clearly means the same as the underlined word. When the suspect refused to open the door, the police executed the search warrant and took the door off its hinges. A. Broke down, B. Presented, C. Signed, D. Carried out. D. Carried out. As used in this sentence, executed means to carry out or do what is required by an order, plan, or course of action. Question number 4. Identify the misspelled word in the following sentence. The surprising news animated the conversation amongst the group. A. Surprising, B. Animated, C. Conversation, D. Amongst. B. Animated. The correct spelling is A-N-I-M-A-T-E-D. The meaning of animated is to be full of life or excitement, to be lively. Question 5. Solve the following. 18 minus 3 plus negative 5 equals A. 26, B. 20, C. 16, D. 10. D. 10. 18 minus 3 plus negative 5. 18 minus 3 minus 5. 18 minus 8 equals 10. Question number 6. Cindy goes to her bank to withdraw some money from her account. She has a balance of $527.41. She withdraws $250. What is the balance of her account after the withdrawal? A. $227.41, B. $267.41, C. $277.41, D. $287.41. C. $277.41. $527.41 minus $250 equals $277.41. Question 7. Starting from the ground floor, John takes an elevator to the 10th floor. John then goes down 2 floors and up 8 floors. John is on what floor? A. 20, B. 18, C. 16, D. 4. C. 16. 10 minus 2 plus 8 equals 16. Question 8. The witnesses said that blank staying at a local motel. A. There, B. There, C. There, D. None of the above. B. There. There is a contraction of the plural pronoun they and third-person plural verb are. Question 9. The shooting occurred early Monday morning at 3:27. Which word is misspelled? A. Shooting. B. Occurred. C. Morning. D. Early. B. Occurred. The correct spelling is occurred. OCCURRED, which means to have happened or have taken place. Question 10. Select the sentence that is correctly written. A. Officer Solanco and me drove to the scene of the crime. B. I and Officer Solanco drove to the scene of the crime. C. Officer Solanco and I drove to the scene of the crime. D. Me and Officer Solanco drove to the scene of the crime. C. Officer Solanco and I drove to the scene of the crime. It is a convention in the English language to use the form someone and I when you list several people including yourself. Someone and I is the subject of the sentence. You should use the subjective form I instead of the objective me. Question 11. Select the sentence that is correctly written. A. Last week, the officers had self-defense training. B. Last week, the officers have self-defense training. C. Last week, the officers has self-defense training. D. The officers last week have self-defense training. A. Last week, the officers had self-defense training. Use had as the past tense of both have and has. Question 12. Use the following information to answer questions 12 through 14. A local pharmacy has been burglarized. The following is a summary of the kinds of drugs that were stolen and their total value. Narcotics, $7,000. Barbiturates, $4,000. Analgesics, $9,500. And other, $3,000. What category of drugs represents the most expensive loss to the pharmacy? B. Analgesics. The stolen analgesics totaled $9,500 in loss, while all the other narcotics were in lesser value amounts. Question 13. What was the total value of the stolen goods? A. $23,500. B. $22,500. C. $24,500. D. $23,000. A. $23,500. $9,500 plus $7,000 plus $4,000 plus $3,000 equals $23,500. Question 14. What category of drugs represents the least expensive loss to the pharmacy? A. Narcotics. B. Analgesics. C. Barbiturates. D. Other. D. Other. According to the scenario, other narcotic types were stolen in lesser amounts than the other listed narcotics. Question 15. Read the passage once and answer questions 15 through 17. Do not refer back to the passage to answer the following questions. The city has a policy that searches can be conducted on an employee's locker, desk, or city-owned vehicle at any time, with or without the employee's presence. Officer Randall is asked by a supervisor to search the desk of the city controller, an elected official, due to the report of a city worker that the city controller was seen smoking marijuana behind the city building and putting a baggie with a green leafy substance in his desk about 1 hour ago. When the city controller's secretary refused to allow the search, Officer Randall showed the secretary a written copy of the city policy. The secretary called the city controller, who was out on a job site, inspecting a city-owned warehouse. He informed the secretary to refuse the search on the basis that he is an elected official. Officer Randall forced his way past the secretary and went through the city controller's desk. Nothing incriminating was found. The secretary sustained a broken arm as a result of the incident. The city worker who reported the city controller was known to have much animosity toward the city controller because the city controller suspended the city worker the previous month for tardiness. On what basis does Officer Randall seek to search the desk of the city controller? A. Search warrant. B. City policy. C. Imminent threat of the destruction of evidence. D. Inherent police power. B. City policy. The officer sought to search the city controller's desk on basis of the city policy that permitted searches with or without the employee being present. The officer did not obtain a search warrant. There was no imminent threat to the destruction of evidence since the city controller was away at a job site. Police officers act by virtue of authority given to them by statutory law and administrative regulations which govern the agency they work for. Inherent police power is too vague an answer and does not refer to any specific authority. Question 16. The city controller does not agree to the search on basis that he is an elected official. Which of the following states his position in another way? A. He's done nothing wrong. B. There's nothing incriminating in his desk. C. That the police officer has merely a copy of the policy, not the policy itself. D. That he is not a city employee. D. That he is not a city employee. The city policy applies to city employees. The city controller tries to establish that his desk is not covered by the city policy because he's an elected official, or in other words, not a city employee. Question 17. Which of the following is a true statement based on the passage? A. The city worker who reported the crime actually saw what he reported. B. The city worker's report of a crime is reliable. C. The city controller took the bag of marijuana before the officer searched the drawer. D. The city worker had a motive to harm the reputation of the city controller. D. The city worker had a motive to harm the reputation of the city controller. The city worker who reported the city controller had a motive to harm his reputation. The passage states that the city worker had been suspended for tardiness the previous month by the city controller. Due to this situation, the city worker may not be reliable. While the report states the city controller was seen smoking marijuana, it does not identify the witness as the city worker. There is no statement in the passage that the city controller removed a bag of marijuana from his desk before the officer searched it. Question 18. How many people are referenced in the passage? A. 3. B. 4. C. 5. D. 6. C. 5. 5 people are referenced in the passage. 1. Officer Randall. 2. Officer Randall's supervisor. 3. City worker. 4. City controller. 5. City controller's secretary. Question 19. Which of the following sentences is not grammatically correct? A. The accident happened on 7th Street at 2:30 in the afternoon. B. All the witness gave good statements. C. The incident report has a number of issues. D. You have to finish the report on the traffic accident before you can go home. B. All the witness gave good statements. Witness needs to be in the plural form for this sentence to be grammatically correct. The plural form for witness is witnesses. Question 20. There were 2 cars involved in the accident that happened Monday morning at the corner of Broadway and 3rd Street. Which word is misspelled? A. Corner. B. Happened. C. Accident. D. There. D. There. The possessive pronoun there should not be used. Instead, the adjective there would help make clear that 2 cars were involved in the accident. Question 21. Jane's yearly income in the year 2020 was $48,200, where 14% of her salary was withheld for income tax. In the year 2021, her yearly salary was $51,800, where 16% of her income was withheld for income tax. What was her average take-home pay during the years 2020 to 2021? A. $48,482, B. $46,486, C. $44,462, D. $42,482. D. $42,482. First, we have to determine the take-home pay for each of the 2 years, 2020 and 2021. In 2020, Jane paid the following in taxes. $48,200 times 0.14 equals $6,748. $48,200 minus $6,748 equals $41,452 take-home pay for 2020. In 2021, Jane paid the following in taxes. $51,800 times 0.16 equals $8,288. $51,800 minus $8,288 equals $43,512. To find the average for the 2 years, add $41,452 and $43,512 and then divide by 2. $41,452 plus $43,512 equals $84,964. $84,964 divided by 2 equals $42,482. Question 22. There were 5 blank to the crime. A. Witnesses. B. Witnesses. C. Witnesses. D. Witness. C. Witnesses. The plural form of witness is witnesses. The sentence doesn't involve the possessive form of witness, so an apostrophe is not needed. Question 23. During a 10-day period, Officer Mandel drove his patrol motorcycle 1,320 miles. If he drove 105 miles on one day, how many miles did he average on the other days? A. 105, B. 135, C. 255, D. 305. B. 135. First, subtract 105 from 1,320 to determine the distance covered in the other 9 days. 1,320 minus 105 equals 1,215. Divide 1,215 by 9 days to find the average per day. 1,215 divided by 9 equals 135 miles per day. Question 24. Officer Perry prepared a police report on a theft from a hardware store. He listed the stolen property as follows: air compressor $600, drill $100, electric saw $250, copper pipe $500. What is the total value of the stolen property? A. $1,400, B. $1,450, C. $1,550, D. $1,650. B. $1,450. 600 plus 100 plus 250 plus 500 equals $1,450. Question 25. What is the value of the goods in question 24, not including the electric saw? A. $1,100, B. $1,200, C. $1,300, D. $1,400. B. $1,200. 600 plus 100 plus 500 equals $1,200. Test.com's Police Practice Test. For more practice, check out the complete 500-question police selection and aptitude practice exam kit with fully explained answers, testing tips, and more. Question 26. Which term is opposite in meaning from the underlined word in the following sentence? The woman seemed to be inebriated when giving her statement to the police officer. A. Uneducated. B. Sophisticated, C. Awake, D. Sober. D. Sober. Inebriated means intoxicated. Sober means not affected by alcohol. Question 27. What term is the same in meaning as the word underlined in the following sentence? The victim's arm was lacerated in the accident. A. Cut. B. Broken. C. Pulverized. D. Folded. A. Cut. Both lacerated and cut mean torn. Question 28. Read the following scenario and answer questions 28 through 31. In an effort to cut down on traffic and air pollution in the center of town, an ordinance is enacted and signed by the mayor that forbids certain size trucks from entering the city limits, except delivery trucks which have either to drop off or pick up goods or other materials from local businesses or residences. To enter the city, delivery vehicles must first obtain a special permit from the Office of Licenses and Permits and display the permit on the front windshield. The ordinance authorizes the police to ticket any truck in the city not displaying a permit. On May 2nd, Officer Brown saw a truck go by him in the town without a permit displayed. He pulled the truck over and questioned the driver. The driver said he was from out of town and was not aware of the ordinance. Officer Brown gave the driver a warning and told him to either drive out of the city or, if he was making a delivery, go to the Office of License and Permits to get a permit. The driver was compliant and drove out of the town. On May 10th, Officer Brown saw the same truck and driver in the town again without the required permit. The driver apologized and said he did not know he was in the city limits. Officer Brown ticketed the driver. The driver appealed his ticket and a hearing was held in the city on May 28th. The judge was not sympathetic to the driver's excuse, as there was a sign giving notice of the city limit just down the street that the driver had passed when entering the city limits. When Officer Brown was leaving the courthouse, he noticed the driver had parked his truck in a lot down the street. Officer Brown was surprised to see that the truck failed to display the required permit. Officer Brown put a ticket on the front windshield of the truck and went about his day. Why did Officer Brown ticket the driver the first time? A. The driver ignored the warning that was given the first time. B. The driver did not have the required permit. C. The officer wanted to teach the driver a lesson. D. The driver parked his vehicle outside the courthouse without the required permit. B. The driver did not have the required permit. The officer ticketed the driver the first time because he failed to have the required permit to drive into the city. While the driver did ignore the previous warning, that is not the basis of the ticket. The question asks about the first ticket, and answer D addresses the second ticket. Question 29. Why was the judge not swayed by the driver's excuse? A. The driver had sufficient notice of the city limit. B. The driver ignored the first warning given by the police officer. C. The driver parked the truck outside the courthouse without the required permit. D. None of the above. A. The driver had sufficient notice of the city limit. The scenario states that the driver drove past a sign indicating the city limit. Therefore, the driver had actual or constructive notice that he had gone into the city and was required to have a permit as he was first warned. Question 30. Based on the driver's conduct after the warning, what can be inferred from the passage? A. The driver was making a delivery within the city limits. B. The driver was not making a delivery within the city limits. C. It cannot be determined from the passage whether the driver was making a delivery within the city limits. B. The driver was not making a delivery within the city limits. When the driver was first stopped and given a warning, the officer gave the driver the choice of driving out of the city or go to the Office of License and Permits and get a permit to make deliveries. The driver drove out of the city without seeking a permit, so it can be inferred that he was not making a delivery. Question 31. On what date did the driver get his first ticket? A. May the 2nd. B. May the 3rd. C. May the 10th. D. May 28th. C. May the 10th. The officer gave the driver a warning on May 2nd, a ticket on May 10th, and a second ticket on May 28th. Question 32. John followed his captain to the office, and they review the criminal complaint that was to be filed that day. Which answer below corrects the use of verb agreement for the underlined text? A. Followed reviews. B. Following reviewed. C. Followed reviewed. D. Follows reviews. C. Followed reviewed. The only correct answer options where the verbs agree are in the past tense. Question 33. Officer Simon listened to the victim wincing in astonishment. Correct the misplaced modifier in the sentence. A. Officer Simon listened to the wincing victim in astonishment. B. Wincing in astonishment, Officer Simon listened to the victim. C. Officer Simon was astonished to listen to the wincing victim. D. Officer Simon winced listening to the astonished victim. B. Wincing in astonishment, Officer Simon listened to the victim. The dangling participle is an error that causes confusion. The participle should be placed immediately before or after the subject of the sentence. Question 34. A suspect as fast as a rabbit. Turn this sentence fragment into a sentence. A. A rabbit as fast as a suspect. B. A suspect like a rabbit that is fast. C. The suspect was as fast as a rabbit. D. A fast rabbit and a suspect. C. The suspect was as fast as a rabbit. A sentence fragment does not have enough to make it complete. It is usually missing a subject or a verb. Question 35. The day was cloudy with rain, the roads were wet and slippery. Fix this run-on sentence. A. The roads were wet and slippery, the day was cloudy with rain. B. The day was cloudy with rain. The roads were wet and slippery. C. The day was cloudy with rain, the wet roads were slippery. D. The day was cloudy with rain, the roads were wet and slippery. B. The day was cloudy with rain. The roads were wet and slippery. A run-on sentence is a sentence with too much in it. It typically has two complete sentences. It is incorrect to insert a comma between the two sentences, as this creates another error, a comma splice. Question 36. 0.08 plus 3 times 4 equals A. 1.8, B. 7.08, C. 12.08, D. 12.32. C. 12.08. By order of operations, you first carry out multiplication before subtraction or addition. 0.08 plus 3 times 4 equals x. 0.08 plus 12 equals x. X equals 12.08. Question 37. Study the following crime scene photo for 1 minute. After 1 minute, answer the following questions without looking at or referring to the photo. If needed, use Zoom on your screen to enlarge the photo. How many people are in the photo? A. 2, B. 3, C. 4, D. 5. C. 4. There are 4 people present in the photo. Question 38. The photo is taken from what vantage point? A. From the front of the store to the back of the store. B. From behind the customer service desk to the front of the store. C. From the outside of the store to the inside of the store. D. From a dressing room to the customer service desk. B. From behind the customer service desk to the front of the store. The photo is taken from the vantage point behind the customer service desk to the front of the store. Question 39. What kind of business establishment is it? A. Convenience store. B. Travel agency. C. Real estate office. D. Clothing store. D. Clothing store. The incident takes place in a clothing store. Question 40. What type of clothing is the person stopped at the door wearing? A. Gray hoodie and blue jeans. B. Blue sweater and black slacks. C. White blouse with black pants. D. Black sweatshirt with black pants. A. Gray hoodie and blue jeans. The person stopped at the door is wearing a gray hoodie. Question 41. How many mannequins are in the photo? A. 0. B. 2. C. 3. D. 4. D. 4. There are 4 mannequins present in the photo. Question 42. Study the following crime scene photo for 1 minute. After 1 minute, answer the following questions without looking at or referring to the photo. If needed, use Zoom on your screen to enlarge the photo. Where was the victim's body laying? A. In a street. B. In a yard. C. In a driveway. D. In an indoor parking lot. A. In a street. The victim was laying on a street, which is indicated by the type of concrete used and the presence of a curb. The presence of grass along the road indicates it is outdoors. Question 43. How many bullet cases were found at the scene? A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. D. 4. B. 2. There are 2 bullet cases present in the photo. Question 44. If the victim was laying face down, the gun lays next to the victim's A. Right hand. B. Left foot. C. Left hand. D. Right shoulder. C. Left hand. If the victim was laying face down, the handgun is located at the victim's left hand. Question 45. If the victim was fatally shot, what is missing from the scene as revealed by the photo? A. Blood evidence. B. The first bullet case. C. Car skid marks. D. Fingerprints on the gun. A. Blood evidence. Typically, if a victim is shot, there will be blood evidence at the scene of the shooting. There's no apparent blood evidence on the street. Question 46. What does evidence marker 4 identify? A. A bullet casing. B. A single-shot handgun. C. A semi-automatic handgun. D. A double-action revolver. C. A semi-automatic handgun. Evidence marker 4 identifies a semi-automatic handgun. Question 47. Study the following crime scene photo for 1 minute. After 1 minute, answer the following questions without looking at or referring to the photo. If needed, use the zoom on your screen to enlarge the photo. What is the suspect carrying in the photo? A. Laptop. B. Metal safe. C. Mini television. D. Jewelry box. B. Metal safe. The suspect carries a metal safe in the photo. Question 48. What type of lock does the object have that the suspect carries? A. Padlock. B. Cam lock. C. Electronic lock. D. Manual combination lock. C. Electronic lock. The metal safe that the suspect carries has an electronic lock. Question 49. What is the setting of the crime? A. A residence. B. A furniture store. C. A business office. D. A hotel lobby. A. A residence. The setting suggests the crime takes place in a residence. Question 50. Will there likely be fingerprint evidence? A. Yes, the suspect was barehanded. B. No, the suspect was wearing gloves. C. Yes, the suspect touched the stolen goods. D. Both A and C. B. No, the suspect was wearing gloves. It is unlikely to be fingerprint evidence since the suspect is wearing gloves. Question 51. Which of the following profiles fits the suspect in the photo? A. 17-year-old male. B. 25-year-old female. C. 28-year-old male. D. 45-year-old male. C. 28-year-old male. The suspect in the photo is likely an adult male in his 20s. Thanks for watching Test.com's Police Practice Test. For more practice, check out the complete 500-question police selection and aptitude practice exam kit with fully explained answers, testing tips, and more.